Is the Bitcoin top in, or can we expect higher prices? We're quickly going over Bitcoin, my current buys and plans for Bitcoin, but after Bitcoin we're going over Ethereum, but especially also the altcoin that we are going to discuss is looking extremely interesting for potential higher targets. So what I've been stating many times over the past few days, that I expect Bitcoin to continue ranging over here for the next few weeks. So we have established a range with our first pivot being the bottom of this small wick over here, second pivot being the end of that impulsive move, and then the third pivot being the end of this A, B, C correction to the downside. So we have our three pivots, so we have our range. Yesterday I posted on Twitter as well that I was expecting a sweep of the range low, which we got, and afterwards indeed we are seeing a push towards the upside. But currently, guys, you have to realize something. If we zoom out on this chart, what can we see? We can see that Bitcoin has already been going pretty parabolic. That Bitcoin has already had most of its move towards the upside. So the thing that you have to wonder right now is the question whether you should focus on Bitcoin or if you should maybe focus on Ethereum and altcoins. Because we know that the cycle works like this. Bitcoin goes first, Ethereum goes afterwards, and after that altcoins will follow Ethereum, alright? So right now we can identify that Bitcoin has seen a significant move towards the upside. So maybe, like I've been saying many times over the past few weeks, it's the time to start focusing on Ethereum and on altcoins. Because if Bitcoin, like I expect it to, keeps on ranging, Ethereum and altcoins might get the opportunity to start outperforming Bitcoin. So if we simply have a look at this 3-day chart over here on Ethereum, we can see that Ethereum is also looking extremely strong, right? There's no reason to be very bearish right now on Ethereum. And if we look at this most recent pump, it looks a little bit parabolic in my opinion. Now, if we analyze this chart and try to identify where there's important buy-side liquidity resting for Ethereum, we can see that we have this buy-side liquidity resting over here around $3,580. Now, also, if we switch on the range, the previous bull market range over here for Ethereum, we can see that above this buy-side liquidity is where we have this very pivotal quarterly level. But besides that quarterly level, we also have this 3-day supply area over here right above that buy-side liquidity, which means that if we try to get into the mind of the market makers right now, if we try to get into the mind of smart money right now, where do we think that smart money that have been accumulating their positions at the bottom, or at least at lower prices, where are they going to unload their bags, right? Where are they going to get rid of those long and buy positions? Inside of huge buy-side liquidity pools, inside of potential important resistance area, right? That combination needs to be very strong in order for smart money to start unloading their bags, right? And if I currently look at this 3-day chart, the area where I see smart money potentially unloading their bags is the area around $3,580. Something that we do have to keep in mind though is that currently Ethereum is near critical resistance. The mid-range of this previous bull market range is a very important resistance area that Ethereum is currently testing. But if Ethereum manages to get above this area and hold above, then I think it's going to be a free ride towards $3,580, okay? So what you have to wait for is a potential flip, and then you can look at an increase of approximately 20%. But how are we going to get in on this move? Well, we have established the area of resistance, right? Now we need some local price action around this area of resistance in order to get into a position, which means that, for example, I want to see a reclaim, but then a perfect retest like this usually doesn't hold. But if you get a perfect retest, then a sweep of that perfect retest, and then a reclaim with a shifted structure, then you can long the pullback and target higher prices, right? According to my strategy, I think that these perfect retests, if we get a reclaim, usually don't hold. Now, if we get a reclaim and then consolidate above and don't retest, but instead of that retest, we get a reclaim, consolidate above, and then expand higher, that makes a lot more sense, okay? So, looking for some local price action over here, currently we can see the price action over here is very choppy, right? So what we can see is that we have local sweeps at the top over here of those local highs, right? So we have a local sweep over here, we have a local sweep over here, right? And then we also get a local sweep of the low. So very choppy price action and very choppy behavior. So you have to wonder, do I want to get in over here? We do get a shifted structure over here. This is a valid shifted structure. because this high brought us to a new low compared to this low that brought us to this high. All right. So then after that first shifted structure, you want to look for some more local price section like this. And then the second reclaim and the second confirmed deviation is our trigger to position ourselves long and target $3,580. I think my plan for Ethereum is very, very clear and very, very obvious. I'm patiently going to wait for some more price action over here to develop around that mid-range. If I get the correct confirmations, I'm going to hop into a long position targeting $3,580. Now let's move over to one of the most interesting looking altcoin charts out there, which is Solana, right? I've been talking about this range many times, and we have this range over here with range pivot high over here and a range low pivots over here. I'm still anticipating a range breakout at some point and then a target of $126 and potentially even higher. And what we can see over here is a head and shoulders, right? And what we can see over here is that head and shoulders has seen a breakdown over here. And what happens is retail traders identify the breakdown of that head and shoulders. They start shorting the price over here with a stop loss over here, or over here, and they target new lows, right? That makes sense in the mind of the retail trader. I always want to do the opposite of the retail traders. What I see over here is that we are sweeping very important sell-side liquidity over here. We are tapping into this bullish daily fair value gap, right? In which we are potentially creating a deviation below the range high. Now all we need is a reclaim of that range high, then the short positions of the breakdown shorts are underwater, and then we will squeeze them higher towards $126. Also, this is potentially a successful retest of the 200 EMA and the 200 moving average on the 4-hourly time frame. And what is very interesting as well over here on the 1-hourly time frame, we can see that we are seeing a local shift in structure to the upside, right? So if we analyze the local downtrend over here, you can see a high, higher low, higher high, but then a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, shift the structure, higher low, and then potentially expansion towards the upside. This is a valid shifted structure as we opened and closed multiple candles above this high that brought us to the significant low. All right, then we form that higher low. Usually you would want to get in on a move over here, but now potentially if this would have been wave 1, this is wave 2, then potentially wave 3 could be starting over here, then a wave 4 and then a wave 5. We might go for a bit more of a mitigation of the daily fair value gap over here, but I prefer to hold on to these two very important EMAs on a 4-hourly time frame and to start testing the range high from here. Then maybe see a bit of rejection, but as soon as we manage to flip that range high, then I expect higher prices for Solana, right? So patiently going to wait for a test of that range high. If it flips, it should send higher, and as long as this low holds as our invalidation, we could expect higher prices for Solana. I think that this is a clean potential chart because of this fake breakdown of the head and shoulders, right? Because of a potential deviation below the range high, because we are holding those important EMAs and have mitigated the daily fair value gap, and we have that local shifted structure towards the upside, right? So anticipating a potential range breakout, I think that Solana is definitely looking pretty good for more potential upside. Now, if you guys do have any questions after watching today's YouTube video, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Please guys, make sure to smash up the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Ciao, ciao!